actually let anyone hear that does cost in the game. So Aicy has taken a 1 worker lead, and that's going to be fairly important here. His second base isn't quite done yet, so it's not a huge deal. But he's done a good job of harassing his knight, obviously a lot of mining time with these extra wolves. And he has actually now got more mined gold. He's denied so much mining time and obviously forced this tower out that he's in a good spot. Shadow's held as Shadow's known to do, but holding isn't everything. And we'll see if we can claim the lead back now, because obviously you can produce water slightly faster. So I see they're actually probably going to come out completely even on workers at the end of this. But obviously Aicy has the slightly better production. He doesn't have the defensive tower at home himself, but it is just going to come down to how they transition out of this. Now I would like to see some barracks play. That has been fairly popular responses, obviously just because soldiers are fairly good. But it's quite a risky move when there's quite so many wolves in. And Aicy is actually going to go for the dive in. Is going to split up half his army. Half is going to go for the tower. Half of it's going to see if it can take a favourable engagement here in the natural. That tower actually has no repairs, so it will go down pretty quickly. Even wolves can take out a tower if you have enough of them. But Aicy is not taking the best of engagements in the natural. He will get the tower. And it might allow him to do some follow-up aggression, but he didn't really get many kills there. And he is actually going to back out. The tower is still alive. There's more wolves on the way, and they might be able to finish it off. But that was really, really costly for Aicy. He's obviously forced a lot of mining time away, but he's lost 13 wolves. Oh, but Shadow gets caught out in the sort of middle choke of his natural. And those are all going to get picked off unless he can juke very well. And there's a forge now going down for Shadow. So there's a forge now going for Shadow down in the background, and there's the barracks, as we said, which is one of the more popular transitions out of this scenario. But there we go, there's the testing lab going down for Aicy as well. So he's just going to continue coming towards. Shadow does not actually see this. He doesn't see it hidden up in the main base. And doesn't look like he's going to. He's just going to commit to that fight. Oh, and actually Aicy getting a whole bunch of wolves into the natural here. The tower is picking up a whole bunch more though. 7 kills on that one already. And Aicy does pick up one more worker, but his wolf is now trapped and they won't get any more kills there. But Aicy is taking a little bit more of a lead further and further. And he's actually picked up a total of 7 workers, so that's pretty darn good. Obviously he's lost a lot of wolves attempting to do that, but he has managed to actually bring himself in a 3 worker lead. So that's pretty nice for him. That actually puts him in a fairly solid economic position. He's going to be able to pump out those upgrades. The wolves are going to dive in again. I'm not sure about this. They might be able to. A lot of the workers on low health, but the wolves are not being targeted quite properly. They're going to dive into the main, and they should pick up another one here. But the wolves are actually getting surrounded, and Shadow once again holding this wolf aggression absolutely superbly. And there we go. Yet more wolves dropping down now. That's actually 25 wolves. They claimed an extra worker. Nope, won't even get another one after that. Nope. So that's more and more and more wolves that Aicy is throwing away here, just trying to get those worker kills. He's got the 5 worker advantage. He's going to use that to transition into dragons now, which could win him the game, but it's going to be difficult because there's already barracks here. It's currently just soldiers, and Shadow doesn't know that the dragons are on the way, but archers will eventually be picked up. And it's a long way off these dragons actually arriving, so Shadow should actually be in a perfectly fine spot to deflect those. I'm really surprised we've not seen a workshop out of Aicy here. He's going to go in again with another small wolf force. He's going to try and take an engagement, but he's fighting underneath the tower. It's not going to work out too well for him. So the +1 armor is now going to finish up for Shadow in just a second. Aicy does spot that, and he's going to be a little bit annoying in the main base. And of course, he's just trying to buy himself time, which he should be able to do. Shadow is obviously caught pretty defensively at the moment. These wolves are actually going to get picked up. Shadow, once again, with some nice worker positioning, is going to pick up the rest of the wolves. The issue is he hasn't found himself an advantage. He's held and he's held and he's held, but he's still in a worker deficit. He's lost 9 workers now to this, and he's just not really got a transition behind this. The armoured soldiers, though, will do excellently against the wolves, but Aicy's getting a 3rd base. And I think Shadow doesn't actually have enough production right now. He's getting a 2nd barracks, but I think these dragons are actually going to end up hitting possibly too soon for Shadow to really react properly. +2 armor, sorry, well, a total of +2 armor soldiers, but effectively just +1 soldiers are going to trade really well with wolves. There's actually so many wolves here. Actually, there's 13, but trading efficiently is probably not what Aicy cares about. In fact, Shadow's going to lose another wolf up here in the top. That gets around and picked off immediately. These soldiers getting a little bit of work done, but these wolves will just regenerate in a second. And another testing lab. Still no workshop. I would really like to see a workshop here. I think that would be perfect for this sort of siege scenario, but it's not what Aicy is going to elect to do. Sorry. Shadow's actually going to look for that 3rd base opportunity now, but it's so late that I'm not really sure it's going to work out for him. He's going down to 3rd barracks, and Aicy will actually come in and immediately spot that this is being done. So, Shadow's trying to take the back route, but it's not going to work out. In fact, as soon as these soldiers move forward, Aicy's actually going to look like he's possibly just positioning for the surround. The soldiers back up immediately. They do not want to get caught out here, and they should. There we go. They are close enough home to this tower. Aicy's going to lose another wolf for his trouble, but his 3rd base is up and mining. He's got double testing labs, and the 1st dragon is on the way. Shadow actually stepping really quite far out here. He's got a lot of +2 on the soldiers, but I don't think that's possibly going to be enough. They're going to get pinned in. There we go. The wolves come in and locks them down. More wolves coming in from the backhand side. It's a decent choke point, but the wolves are actually taking a fairly good engagement here. Aicy's going to lose a lot, but he's going to clean up all the remaining ground forces of his opponent. And Shadow's going to be forced to pump out yet more soldiers. He can't afford to have more archers behind this, because he needs to have a counter to his ground force. And those archers are what he needs versus the dragons. But that +1/+1 actually did a huge amount of work there for Shadow. I actually don't think he lost really no, he's not lost a single soldier here. So pretty good control from him. There's now 2 archers, which is technically enough to take down that dragon, but not with that much wolf support. And there we go, the wolves coming in once again. Shadow finding a nice choke point to fight in, but the wolves leak in around the left hand side. The full surround comes in, and Shadow is in a lot of trouble here. Actually, these soldiers are trading so efficiently. It's actually kind of ridiculous how well they're trading, but obviously that is the nature of barracks units. They are very, very efficient for their cost compared to Beast. But Shadow has been known to struggle a little bit against Beast. Probably actually why Aicy picked it here. Because, yeah, Shadow has consistently just done this barracks play, and he doesn't quite seem to manage to macro or transition his way out of it. And with double upgrades behind this for both players, it is going to come down to a macro battle. The upgrades are in favour of Aicy right now, but there will be a window where Shadow takes that lead. And he has managed to secure himself a 3rd base. Obviously his economy is going to be a little bit slow. He's about 1,000 gold behind. But is not doing too badly. Will lose another soldier at the front there for not any return damage, which kind of sucks. Aicy actually with some really impressive control here to just keep these dragons out of the range of the soldiers. Just picking it off there for the odd archer shot. So that's a very, very nice pickup for him. Aicy's going to actually take the 4th base up at the top, and that will also function as his 5th base just because there's 2 gold mines up there. So that's going to be very nice for him, and you can see yet more production facilities getting dropped down. I'm not sure Aicy's really got enough here though. He kind of needs some more wolves really to back this up, because the ground force from Shadow is not huge, but it is formidable. And it looks like he's actually going to split up, and Aicy's going to try and push into the main. There is a tower here, sorry, for Shadow, and it will deflect some of this. But Aicy's going to go for it. He will do a little bit of damage, but not a huge amount. The wolves just sitting out there on the 3rd base, not really going in for an attack at the same time. But and there we go. Tower upgrades now starting for Shadow, so that's going to make it very, very difficult for those dragons to really harass and do much once those upgrades are in place. The archers are trying to find a location here on these dragons, but not the best of spots. There's actually 2 dragon slayers coming down behind this for Aicy, so going full macro mode. There's the mage transition that we saw earlier from Yummy. And it may come down to this game. Aicy's not quite done the damage he wanted. Well, he's done a lot of damage, but he's not really denied the 3rd base like he wanted. So it may come down to these mages. There might be a spot though behind these tree lines where the castle can be shot at, but Aicy not willing to truly split up his forces just yet. These soldiers are quite a way out from the archers though, so if Aicy's on top of it here, he should actually be able to pick up yet more free damage on those. The army comes in, and with the archers all down on the bottom hand side, there's a couple more free shots, which obviously helps to swing the coming engagement further and further into Aicy's favour. And the barracks is going to finish up now. It should be very shortly followed up with a Mage's Guild. There we go, there's the Mage's Guild going down straight away. So it will almost definitely be Fireball coming out once again. Some people like to go heal spell, but the heal spell on dragons is not it's nice, but realistically you just want the Fireball to really clean up those mages, possibly clean out some of the soldiers. That is why you pick up that late game transition, and beasts with mages at the end game is pretty darn scary. Obviously barracks units with mages is slightly scarier, just because with mages it's then ridiculously efficient, but it doesn't look like Shadow's just going to go for that transition just yet, and Aicy actually keeping an eye on those lower bases. Shadow's actually going to move out here, and he will. Oh, he found some of these wolves on their own, but he's not going to go for it. And he's got to be careful here. Both players are sort of turning out into the middle of the map, but there's actually not very many soldiers with this for Shadow, and actually the wolves are coming in for a complete surround. Aicy with a excellent setup for this engagement, gets in behind. The archers trying to find a nice spot to sort of keep themselves safe in, but the dragons actually set up really, really well. The wolves mostly engaging the soldiers, but they aren't going down, and now Shadow is losing a lot of units here. The archers are mostly firing the wolves, not on the dragons themselves. The wolves down on the right hand side are mostly being cleaned up though, so Aicy's got to be careful. He doesn't want to lose the dragon here if he can avoid it. They are very, very expensive units, but almost all the wolves have died there. They're trading away wolves for the soldiers. You can see 60 wolves have died total versus not that many units actually for Shadow there. Almost need a resources loss pad. Do we have one? Yeah, we don't have a resources loss pad yet. Alright, that's fine. But now Yummy's starting to do this sort of power turtle in the middle of the map. Fireball is, of course, most of the way done, and what's that? Extra fortress. There's another fortress. Okay, fortress starting in the main as well. Bit of an odd choice. I wonder if that's actually just a mistake, but there we go. There is 2 fortresses now. Doesn't actually help you at all to have 2 fortresses. So Shadow's just going to go to this top side, but he actually has a really small army right now, and he's still just producing archers. There's not many soldiers beneath this, and obviously for Aicy, he is trying to go for this sort of pure dragon mage composition as Zen game. But there we go, a few more walls do get started, so it's a little bit dicey for both players now. This is neither player really has their sort of meat padding in the front, which does make this fairly risky. The archer's actually taking a little bit of fire there. And these mages are actually just building up some energy. I'm surprised Aicy hasn't gone for a 3rd one just yet, but it is what it is. The archers are taking a lot of fire. Aicy's got to be very, very careful though. He cannot fight under these towers if he can avoid it, just because the extra DPS is pretty significant. They are, of course, the upgraded towers with bonus damage and range. The wolves come in though, and they do get a really nice subs area. This is the problem with the build Chad has gone for in the end game here. He's just got none of that meat at the front. So as much as it counters the dragons pretty well. Oh, but the mages! Oh, 1 hit lands, but it... Oh, is he going to get the second fireball off? The next fireball does go off. Aicy does actually lose half mana mage there, which is pretty important, but the damage is done. Shadow gets taken out, and Aicy will take that round 2 game.